Chris Davis takes it in the back of the end zone. He'll run it after the 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 45. Here it goes, Davis. Oh, my God. Davis is going all the way back. Auburn's going to win the football game. Auburn's going to win the football game. He ran the missed field goal back. He ran it back 109 yards.
Walker with 7. Got a mismatch. Walker on McGee with 4. Kemba Walker. Step back. Walker. Cardi and Kemba does it again. UConn wins at the buzzer. James catches, puts up a 3. Won't go. Rebound Bosh. Back out to Allen. His three-pointer. Bang! Tie game with 5 seconds remaining. 3 seconds at midcourt. Jenkins gives it to Jenkins for the championship.
Welcome back to the 3rd episode of the Ball Street Journal. Today we're going to be going over some NBA trades, some college basketball for this week and this weekend, and then the Super Bowl. We're going to have our picks for you. We're going to have a few plays to attack the books this weekend.
Busy episode. Let's get right after it. So we'll start in the NBA. Last night, all week we hinted at trades. It's trade deadline. We talked about the De'Aaron Fox one and the Luka one the other day. So we'll start with the Pelicans trading Brandon Ingram to the Raptors for Bruce Brown, Kelly Olynyk, a first rounder and a second rounder. I was shocked. I really don't know why the Raptors wanted Brandon Ingram. I don't know how he fits their timeline, but whatever.
I mean, the only thing that surprises me here is that they gave up picks. Like what?
Like they had to, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I see Bruce Brown and Kelly Olynyk, yeah, but Brandon Ingram, he's been good. But I mean, I would take a first round pick over him, especially if it's one of their own, which they haven't been doing that great. It's going to be a mid first round,
No.
probably.
Yeah. I was I was shocked.
Yeah.
I just couldn't believe that he'd been in talks. I thought he was gonna go to the Hawks, to be honest, but the Hawks were actually kind of sellers at the deadline. They
Yeah.
traded DeAndre Hunter to the Cavs for LeVert, Niang, and 3 second rounders. I still think that the Celtics are the team to beat in the East, but the Cavs, I think it'll be a good series if those two can meet up.
Yeah, the Cavs got a damn good starting lineup now. I mean, they're good. They're good 1 through 5 now with DeAndre
He
Hunter.
felt the need. He just got to stay healthy. That's always been the concern
Yeah.
for him.
And I mean,
But I mean,
they do trade a little bit of depth with Chris LeVert and Niang, but makes up for it.
yeah, they got Ty Jerome. He's been really good for them this year. They'll be fine. I think it'll probably be between them, the Knicks, and the Celtics, where he's gonna make it out of the East.
Yeah.
I mean, as of now. Then they're just a bunch of, I would say, really, obviously the Butler trade to the Warriors, that doesn't move me at all. I mean, they might make it into the playoffs. They might not. Who cares? They're not good. They're going to be the 8 seed and lose to the Thunder. That's
And
their ceiling.
I mean, extending him was even more surprising. 60 mil a year
For a 35-year-old Jimmy Butler.
and someone who's been an absolute cancer in the Miami Heat locker room lately.
Yeah.
Pretty
Well,
much
and the
every team he's been to.
Yeah. I mean, obviously he's good in the playoffs. So you got to make it there.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, but a core of Butler, Green, and Curry, it just doesn't move me. 2025.
Yeah. They
Maybe
need one more player out.
3 years ago. But without, yeah. The Lakers getting Mark Williams from Charlotte. That was pretty big. They needed a big guy.
Yeah,
He's got to stay healthy.
we were
Otherwise,
both
that
saying
trade's
they needed a big.
really, really bad. Because they gave up that unprotected in 2031. I mean, they're going to have Luka, I would assume, still, so that pick won't be great. But that's 6 years from now, so you really don't know.
Yeah.
It's pretty scary to have that unprotected in a trade that could go wrong like this.
For all they
What do I-
know, though, 2031, they could have their pick back by now and more.
Yeah, true. I would say probably the last big trade of the deadline was I mean if you can call it big. The Bucks acquiring Kuzma for Middleton pretty much and AJ Johnson, a little promising rookie. And I just couldn't believe like it shows you that this is a business. Middleton won them their helped them win their first ring in 50 years. And he gets traded to the 8-41 Wizards on a Wednesday morning. Like that's cold.
At the
I would be
deadline
fucking
too.
sick. I would be fucking sick to my stomach if I was anywhere involved with Chris Middleton. That's just disgusting that to him. Uh Kuzma has not been basketball relevant for since the bubble, I don't think. So I mean if they can revive his career, whatever. They don't move me at all though. I don't like the Bucks roster.
Yeah.
Do you?
No. No. And I frankly
Yeah.
don't we both agree that it doesn't matter because
I
right now
think the
it's
Knicks are
looking like
better.
who can beat the Celtics is my
Yeah, I think the Knicks are way better. I think the Celtics are way better, and I think the uh who was it? Who is it? Oh, the Cavs.
and
Yeah, Cavs.
in the East, I really think it's just Cavs trying to fight for the one so they don't have to play the Celtics until the semifinals. That's basically
Yeah,
what we got right now. Which I like because then we'll get Celtics Knicks and that'll be a good
and
series.
I could see the Knicks upsetting the Celtics, honestly.
And that's such a momentum series where two franchises hate each other. Could go either way.
And I mean the crowds are going to be insane.
Yeah.
Like they're going to be nuts. And the Celtics are 2 games ahead of the Knicks. So there's a chance that the Knicks could have a
4 games.
home court advantage. If they have home court advantage, then I may bet on them to upset them.
Yeah.
But if they don't, then there's no chance.
Yeah. Okay. Going on to college basketball. You want to go over this past 3 days? Had a lot of good games, a lot of close games. Starting on Monday, though, not a very close game.
Not a very close
Clones.
game.
Um, and it's kind of just been uh downhill for the Clones, but who knows with Milan out if that's due to him or if it's just a midseason slide.
I kind of hinted at this on our Monday podcast, which was before the game. My expectations were very low for this game, and they were still I mean, they went lower than my expectations still. But that being said, I'm never gonna quit on this team. I think that they're way too good, and I think that 90% of this is Milan being out. Just because with him out, we now have to give roles to players who can't shoot. And they have to like when you have 3 people on your team who they don't have to guard, you're you're just not going to score in the half court,
Yeah.
especially when your guards aren't making the shots they were at the start of the year.
And
So I think
against the Kansas
I
team
just
that
think they'll
relies
be
so
better.
heavily on defense to win their games. Just
Kansas coming off a 0-2 week at home in
mm-hmm.
Allen Fieldhouse, Bill Self 37-0 on Big Monday. We were not winning that game, but I wanted to see more fight. But we'll be back, and I still think we're going to be a top 3 seed.
Tuesday, we had a good game. First game of the night, Marquette St. John's. It
Oh,
looked
and
like,
I do want to give some respect to Kansas. They played well. They played really well on defense.
does this mean you're back in on Kansas though?
If Hunter Dickinson gets a season-ending injury, I'm all in on Kansas.
Where
No, scratch that. If KJ Adams gets a
yeah,
season-ending injury, then
I
I'm back.
mean, I think ultimately they just gotta take him out of the starting lineup.
He's one of those players where he's like, you can play him at home because he just has so much energy, and
Mm-hmm.
he's like, he feeds off the crowd. But if he goes on the road and fucks up, everybody in the stadium knows that that dude sucks at basketball. He's only here because he can jump.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean
And he takes horrible shots. He
that
takes
hoop was
horrible
pretty
shots.
electric, but besides that, he didn't have that great of a game even.
No, he shot a horrible floater. That's like the one thing that sticks out to me about his game. Horrible floater.
Okay, Marquette St. John's Close game. Marquette was leading for a little bit. Ultimately, Rick Pitino adding to the resume, looking pretty good. St.
I
John's,
actually smacked a nice lay on this game. Marquette first half, St. John's second half, plus 425.
that's nice.
Ching.
I
Yeah, and
mean,
it was really nice because Marquette barely won. The first half,
and
they won by 1 point.
and they needed that because they're going into stores tomorrow night.
Yeah, and Marquette's got to go to Omaha on Saturday.
And those are both games that could decide who's the top of the Big East right now. It's St. John's in first, Creighton in second. And if those
Oh, I
games
would say that if they win, if St. John's wins, they pretty much.
secure the
I mean,
one,
I guess they still have to play UConn at home yet, and then they got to go to Marquette. But Marquette's already got 3 losses.
Mhm.
UConn's
Well,
already got uh 1, 2, 3 losses in the Big East too.
I
So
believe it's just St. John's and Creighton, right? If
yeah,
1 and 2, and I mean,
Creighton's got 2.
yeah. So St. John's wins it at UConn. That's pretty huge. That pretty much secures them the 1 seed in the Big East tournament, which I mean doesn't mean too
St.
much.
John's, or I mean Creighton's season. Here it is, right here at these next 3 games. Marquette Saturday, Tuesday, UConn. Both those are home, and then St. John's next Sunday.
That's that's a huge 3 games in the
Yeah,
schedule.
especially if they win these next 2, which I could definitely see. Then that game next Sunday, February 16th, is pretty much for the Big East.
If they win 2 out of the 3, I don't care what order it is. I'm in on Creighton to maybe go maybe Elite Eight before.
Yeah, I like that. I think this head probably team has an Elite Eight ceiling
And I really hate that Pop
because they
Isaac.
need one. I think they need that one more guy,
Yeah, because
which
it's just
Popeyes would be.
like at the end of who'd they play this past weekend on Saturday?
Villanova.
Villanova, like Ashworth chucked up that 3 at the end and that hit, but right before that possession, they had a
Yeah,
bad
they got lucky. They got really lucky in that win, honestly.
they had a
Did you
bad
see that
three
call?
Ashworth where I would have loved to see Pop Isaacs have the ball.
Did you see that call that gifted them the win?
Yeah, the
I
Phantom
would be pissed.
timeout.
Yeah. I mean, I still respect them. They're on an
I
eight-game
love
win
that.
streak. Yeah. Sometimes you got to be lucky, I guess.
And I like that that keeps the Big East race closer.
Yeah, because the Big East is awesome.
Yeah. Another big game that night. Houston beat Oklahoma State, but Oklahoma State actually kept it a lot closer than I thought they would.
Oh yeah,
I
I thought
mean,
it was Blowout City.
I thought that was 20 points easy. They kept it down to 9 points, under a 10-point game, which good for them. Other
They've
than
been
that,
looking a lot competitive recently, but I mean, it just shows you there's different classes in college basketball.
Michigan State dropped an away game to UCLA, which means they've lost their past 2. Not looking good for them right now. I would say they probably dropped out of the top 15 in my power rankings.
UCLA had honestly credit to them 4 game losing streak, then six rattled off 6 straight wins. They're good. I don't know. That game was pretty ugly. I think Tom Izzo said it was the most physical game he's ever like seen in the Big 12 or Big 10, I mean. Uh, I think both these teams are UCLA probably Sweet 16 ceiling, Michigan State maybe Elite 8. They just don't have a go-to scorer, which
Mm-hmm.
it's nice they have a bunch of scorers or like a bunch of guys who chip in and get a bunch of points. But on a night like this, they needed a guy who on the road could go get him a bucket, like down 2 or down 1, and they didn't have it.
And in March, that's all you need. You need that. You need a guy for March.
Because you're gonna have one of those games, no matter. I mean, unless you're UConn these last 2 years, you're gonna play in a close game in March.
Mm-hmm. Um, let's go on to Wednesday. There wasn't too many other close games that Tuesday.
We talked a little bit about Arizona BYU.
Yeah,
You called to beat Arizona going. I said BYU's got a tough crowd. It's gonna be a tough game. looked like that way in the first half, and Arizona just out talented them, out physical. Like they showed their class in that
They're
game.
impressing me more and more. And honestly,
Yep.
the top of the Big 12 as a whole, with it being Houston, Texas Tech, and Arizona in the past 3 weeks, they've like shot up in like my power rankings, what I think of them. And they've kind of like, especially
Yeah.
Caleb, he's been playing
I
phenomenal.
think those three teams have kind of separated at the top of the Big 12 race
Hmm.
for now. I mean, there's probably there's like 7, 8 games left, but it's going to be tough for Arizona or Houston to not win it, I think.
Yeah.
And then the last one on Tuesday was this one shocked me was Kentucky
Ole Miss.
at Ole Miss.
Oh my God. Kentucky has
Ole
just
Miss couldn't miss in the
so,
first half,
I mean,
which was in part because Kentucky is dreadful on defense.
they just let
Dreadful.
they let the other team run in practice. It's like they're not even guarding
Yeah.
them there. All they're looking to
They
do
don't
is
make
get
anything
in
difficult
transition
for
to
the
the floor
offense.
before the ball even comes out of the net.
And they were talking, I mean, they played pretty well in the second half, made it a little bit of a game at times, but like you're never watching it thinking Kentucky was going to win,
And in
which like,
part,
I mean, they're 4-5 in the conference now.
yeah, and
Do they wish they had Cal back?
part of it is Lamont Butler is out, and he probably is the
Yep.
best defender. But if you're hoping to win in March, get to the Sweet 16, get to the Elite Eight, get to the Final Four, you need to have better defense than the a
And you need
bottom.
a guy on the interior
Yeah,
too. Like Lonzo Butler is a great defender, and he definitely is the like a big reason why they're doing this. But then like Amari Williams, stud on offense, absolute cone on defense. Can't guard a box car.
yeah,
And he did one of the saddest things I've ever seen in my entire life. Mark Pope, they're down 16. He needed like an assist for a triple double, so they draw him up a play. Are you kidding me? I hate that. That's
yeah.
not honorable.
I mean, especially when they're down that much, you got to, with Kentucky especially, you got guys on the bench that they could come in and maybe be a star for the rest of the season. If you give them that one game chance where they get 10 minutes in the game, they might go off. And that
Yeah.
that might be the guy you're missing. And in that game, I would have loved to see a little bit more bench action in the late game because you knew you weren't winning it. And
Yeah. And you're just giving a guy a chance to get some confidence and go off.
the good thing for Kentucky though is they got a pretty easy stretch if I can remember correctly. I think
I can
they
look.
got like Oklahoma and Vandy or someone else, maybe South Carolina, one of those teams.
So they play South Carolina Saturday,
Yeah.
and then they got Tennessee at home
Which I
on next Tuesday,
yeah.
which I mean they just beat Tennessee's. They beat Tennessee and Tennessee, then at Texas versus Vandy, and then at Bama.
Yeah. I mean
They
that
still have
Tex
an at Bama. They haven't at Bama and a versus Auburn yet,
that Texas
and
and
Bama too,
South Carolina games for Mark Pope gotta be must wins.
and Vandy. They already lost to Vandy this year
Yeah.
on the. So like you gotta. Uh,
You gotta prove yourself.
I think he's a good coach. Like,
I
but
do too. I think they got the better end of the Calipari Mark Pope trade, but
I thought.
I thought so too. Arkansas looked really good yesterday, yeah. And against Kentucky, but
Yeah.
let's
Do
move
you
on.
want yeah, move to Wednesday?
Yeah. My Tigers, they had a really good first half, fell apart. And if you don't believe in the announcer jinx, I don't know what to tell you. Tamar Bates, 95% free throw shooter, had only missed 3 on the year, misses 2 front ends in a row. And that's the difference in the game. That's a tie game if he makes all 4 free throws there, which normally he would. But right before that set of free throws, the announcer goes, and Tamar Bates, this kid just doesn't miss. Doesn't miss from the line. He's 55 for 58 on the year, and then he misses 2 in a row.
So So if the announcer doesn't do that, you guys win this game.
Mizzou comes back, ties it up, pushes it to overtime, drains the air out of that crowd, and they win that game. And I don't.
I love it.
And the thing is, I think Mizzou is honestly a good team built for March. At the beginning of the year, I didn't have this hope at all, but the way Caleb Grill stepped up, the way Tamar Bates has stepped up, and watching last night, Tony Perkins, who
Yeah.
at Iowa could not shoot the rock at all, was strictly driving kick, driving floater, driving muscle up a layup, was shooting the piss out of the ball in the first half. Absolutely.
I was impressed.
11 of their first 13 points. Also, I mean, Tennessee, if you told me any team scored 80 points against Tennessee, I would say they won the game for sure.
Yeah. I mean, when and Tennessee scored 57 in the second half.
Yeah.
That's what shocked me.
Zakai Ziegler did not miss a three, which, and before that, he was like, in his past two games that he played, he was like 3 for 17.
Yeah, and that's how it always happens.
Yeah. I mean, of course, and Chaz Lanier, who before this game was their only source of offense, only had 10 points and they won. But
Yeah, you would have taken that for sure.
I think that also says something about Tennessee is that they're getting guys that can score. Ziegler back did look good. Their offense looked a lot better than it had versus Florida this weekend. So if you're a Tennessee fan, things are looking up.
Yeah,
Probably looking at
they're
getting
real.
right now, which
One seed.
which would be huge for them. Depending on the SEC tournament, if they can make it to the semifinals, I think it's a one seed guaranteed.
Yeah.
But I mean, props to them. They look good. What do you think about that game?
I honestly, I was watching more of the Oregon Michigan game, so I didn't really watch the first half. But the second half, I mean, both teams just have shot makers,
Yeah,
like up and down the team. I didn't know that Cruz dude from Missouri. He's
yeah.
nice.
I'm
They
I'm
just got to shoot.
I'm waiting for a big game from him, and I'm hoping it honestly comes later in the season because what Dennis Gates has said about this team is that he's the biggest shot maker in practice. And if
That's
he's
what they kept saying on the
on
t
TV,
TV too, and I was like, wow. Yeah,
yeah, because he shoots a lot, but he doesn't like he's probably shot 35-40% on the year, and I think he could hit that 40-45 mark and kind of have a late run for them, especially
and
being
that could just take them to the next level for sure.
yeah. I mean, and he's big,
Yeah. Do you want
but
to talk about the battle between the top picks, Rutgers, Illinois?
oh yeah. Um, I mean, as you said last Monday, Jockey Jonas draft stock is kind of tanking right now.
Yeah, that was looking like one of my better early takes on this podcast.
Since his hand injury, he shot like 18% from three. And then also this Illinois team has shot the most threes in the Big Ten at the worst clip in the Big Ten at like 28%, which
Yeah, and that's not how you have a successful season
no.
when those happen.
And I mean, they don't have shot makers that they can go and shoot 25 threes a half. It's not gonna work like that.
They have,
They got drive and kick.
I like Will Riley. He's
Yeah.
my favorite player on this team.
And
He's a tough shot maker. He's going to be in the NBA for a long time.
yeah, I mean, they just gotta switch up something on the offensive side. And then
They have talent, like
yeah,
they do.
they have one of the best rosters in college basketball. One of the best pro-ready rosters, I should say.
And I liked Underwood. Like I think he's a really good coach.
Yeah.
But
He's just gotta
I
rein
mean,
something.
yeah, I think in the second half they did a lot better job of not taking as many threes and
Yeah.
they played a lot better. But so if that continues, I could see them making a push. I still think like I don't want to see this Illinois team in March.
No.
Just because Jack Kuchonis could have that game, and if he's playing your team, he's going for 25 and 10, and he's going to dominate. And Will Riley's going to hit four threes. And
Espe-
Ivicic is going to hit two more, and you're going to lose.
Especially, and it's going to be their first time shooting well all year as a team. They're gonna
Yeah.
put together
And
that
when
one,
they do that, it's over.
and it's gonna be like a 5 seed against a 4 seed, and they're just gonna
Yeah.
come out of nowhere, just on fire, and just
Win by like 30.
yeah, and then that 1-4 matchup is gonna be a close game too if they do that because
Yeah.
they're gonna
With
come
all the
in
confidence.
hot, and if that
I
happens,
think that
as long as it's not Mizzou playing them, I'm all for that. I want to see these guys play
that
better.
would be an offensive. That could be an offense. That would be over, taking the over.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think in this game, Dylan Harper really showed that he's the number two pick.
And
He
showed his
he
strength.
was he was so good in this game. Like defense, he was getting steals, he was getting grabbing rebounds,
Yeah.
timely ass shots, 60% from three. I mean, he had that one play where he saved the ball from going out, threw it behind his back, came all the way down the court, drained a three to give him the lead. And it's like, holy shit. Okay, that's what a number two pick looks like. Jack
And
Puchonis.
this Rutgers team though, with him and Ace Bailey, I would love to see them somehow win the Big Ten championship and get a spot
I,
in
I don't
tournament.
even think they have to do that.
You think they just got to win a few more games?
I think that I mean, at Maryland that's a huge opportunity. That's a ranked team. Like you get that win, you get two ranked wins in a row, people probably start looking at you differently. Then you get Iowa at home. That's got to be a win. I mean,
Yeah.
if they lose that, then this stream's dead. No, they got a tough schedule. They they got at Purdue, at Michigan, and at Maryland yet. So I
I
think and at Oregon. I need three of those four. Sorry.
and I think honestly, that Oregon game, that's tanked. I mean, Oregon's looked not great. They've been keeping every game close, but they just can't win these past 3 games. They could have won at least 2 of these,
Yeah.
2 the home ones, and they've just played bad. So that's got to
Yeah,
be
it's I think I saw something, they have the second most quad one wins in the in NCAA, but like they're gonna end up being like a six or a seven seed
yeah,
because they just have struggled so bad.
yeah.
Was there Oh, I think the last one was probably Arkansas, Texas.
Hmm.
One of the night. I mean, Arkansas, we said it on Monday. We were looking for them to
Keep this from
continue that streak, or was it just gonna be like a one-off game? No. They
yeah.
showed up mainly in the first half, dominated. And Texas kind of crawled back in the second half, but I was never worried
Mm,
uh, for Arkansas in that game. Arkansas is another team kind of like Rutgers, in a little better position than Rutgers, I would say for sure. But like Alabama on Saturday, that's that's a chance to if you win that game, I would say they're in
yeah,
as of that day.
yeah. Okay, so let's go over some big game we talked about a little earlier. St. John's at UConn. This is a huge Big East game, huge game for the overall standings. And honestly, I'm hoping St. John's is the favorite because if they are, I will be taking UConn money line.
Yeah,
And
I
if
like that as well.
if not, then I might alt it for St. John's to cover. I uh I think UConn's bringing something back, trying to make up maybe a late season push. I don't think they're nearly what they were last year or the year before. I don't think they're a Final Four team, but they got a Final Four coach. They got they got the
They
best
just went into Marquette and won. So
yeah,
like
they got the best coach in college basketball, in my opinion.
I'll,
And
I'll probably have UConn in this one, honestly.
and due to that, I think they can win any game.
Yeah, probably gonna take UConn. Is that what you'll do as well?
Yeah, for sure.
I think
Um,
it might be ugly though, so I might take the under there.
of under a point scored
Yeah,
and UConn spread if they're favored. Yeah, I like that. St. John's is going to keep it low scoring, but
yeah,
ultimately UConn. Okay, let's go into this weekend. Got a bunch
yeah.
of games. Let's just run through them quick, give our predictions, and then we'll talk about the Super Bowl here, what we've all been waiting for. South Carolina at Kentucky. Kentucky needs it bad. Um, I'll probably I
Kentucky.
Kentucky's gonna be favored by a lot. I don't know if I'm gonna expect them to win by that much. I'm staying away from Kentucky recently, but think Kentucky will win this game for
I
sure.
might all Kentucky's line down a couple points and take that, to be honest.
Yeah, I like that a lot. Then we got Tennessee at Oklahoma. Oklahoma's looked pretty good recently.
I think that this is a potential upset game. I'm gonna call that right now.
Yeah, I like that. I like Oklahoma to cover whatever it is for sure.
Yeah,
But I wouldn't be surprised if they win that. Jeremiah Pierce is really good.
he's a stud. And he
And
hasn't played that well in his last couple games. I bet at home he's gonna.
Tennessee's shot way too good last game versus Mizzou to have another game like that.
Yeah.
Uh,
But
next,
that's the type of team that's always capable to get upset.
yeah, yeah, I agree. Next, Oregon at Michigan State. Michigan State needs a win bad, and I think they'll do it. I like Michigan State here. I'll probably alt their spread down, just like the Kentucky game. Um,
That's a game that I think both teams need. I mean, Oregon's lost what, four in a row now?
yeah,
So it could easily be five because I mean that's the toughest game they have in the Big Ten. Or I
yeah,
guess at Purdue is probably tougher. But at
tough.
Michigan State is off back-to-back losses. Good luck.
Yeah.
That'll
Next,
be an intense game.
next TCU at Iowa State. Iowa State needs to win bad. They need to get their offense going for sure against this game. I don't think they should have trouble winning, but for them,
TCU is kind of fighting for their season. They'll be coming out like aggressive and tough. Iowa State's gonna have to win the game. They're like TCU's not just gonna.
yeah.
If Iowa State plays the way that they have been playing, they'll lose. So
For Iowa
like
State's sake, I think I need them to blow them out. A
yeah,
10, 15, 20 point win.
I need that as well.
Back in the mindset.
I need
Uh,
that as well.
next, Michigan at Indiana. Indiana
Have
has
you been seeing Woodson might step down at the end of the season?
yeah, I've seen that he might get fired too.
Yeah, I think
Which
so this is his last, I think this is his last, which makes me think Indiana has a shot in this game.
and they're at home. They've the record's not great. Indiana's they got 9 losses already, but Michigan does have 5 losses. They could make it 6. I like Indiana to cover here and maybe Indiana money line. Just
Michigan's Michigan's biggest advantage I feel like is their size.
yeah.
And Indiana's got size. So I think they match up well. I think it'll be a pretty good game, but I'm not going to bet on it.
This could be a live
Uh,
bet game potentially.
Marquette at Creighton.
Yeah, like that
Yeah,
game a lot. That's I mean, I don't even
probably
know.
take
Marquette needs a win.
probably take Marquette.
Creighton's been really hot. And honestly, if Creighton wins this game, Marquette Marquette's gonna drop a lot in the rankings and Creighton's gonna jump
They're
in.
out of the East. They're out of the Big East race.
Yeah.
I think this is a game where Marquette's like, okay, we have the best player on the floor, Cam Jones.
Yeah, I like that.
I think he makes Steven Ashworth look normal.
Yeah. I think he gets Stephen Ashworth to commit a bunch of turnovers too. He's a
Yeah.
little smaller, maybe get in the passing lanes, just corrupt him. Okay, next game, Kansas at Kansas State. Kansas State is fiery hot. Jerome Tang's squad is looking good, but Kansas
And
needs
you
to
know that
get
crowd's
going.
gonna be rocking, dude.
Yeah. I
I
think
feel like it's Kansas. I bet fans have been out since Monday.
yeah. Kansas is gonna need to have a huge first half here to win. But if they do, they could just keep it at a far enough distance and let their defense do the work in the second half.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see what the spread is in this game.
Mm-hmm.
But because if it's a double digit number, I'm taking Kansas State.
Yeah, I like that. I don't think it will be with Kansas State being at home, but you never really know.
I bet it'll be like 8.5,
Yeah.
maybe
Next
more.
game, Texas A&M at Mizzou, both ranked matchup, and both 17-5. Mizzou at home, coming off a loss. I like them to win. I'm completely biased though, but I like it to be a double digit win too. I think I think their offense has just been clicking, and I thought it was maybe just a little bit of a little luck, but it's been clicking on all cylinders the past 5 games. So ever
I
since,
probably will also take Missouri, but I will give you the other side, a little bit of the other side. I just think like Texas A&M they play a lot more physical style. I mean, so does Missouri. Like I think it'll be a physical game. So I think the way that's reffed is gonna be
yeah,
a complete like decider on how this game goes.
and with that, I like
I
being
think it'll be closer than double digits. I think Missouri wins probably like 75 to 69.
yeah.
I'll probably bet that correct score.
After that, we got the best game of the day, Florida at Auburn, and
If Florida wins, it's the best win of the season in college basketball.
yeah, I mean I agree. It's no one's beating Auburn at home. The only team
Auburn's looking like the team to beat. Like they look like it's them and Duke. We
yeah,
kind of said that, and I mean,
said it every episode,
yeah,
but it's been true.
I
I mean,
and
top
but I think Florida's Final Four good. So like this is a chance to you go into Auburn this Saturday and win that game. I look at the college basketball season completely different
yeah.
after it's over.
In Florida, they need to prove something after getting blown out last weekend.
I'm calling this right now. It is not out of the cards for all four of the top four teams to lose this week. All five, the top five teams besides Auburn are on the road.
You think Duke's gonna lose?
I mean, that's the toughest team in the ACC.
Yeah.
At
Um,
Clemson,
yeah. I still like Duke. I mean, I think
they barely beat Wake Forest.
yeah, but they've matured so much since then. Even they've just looked
That's
solid.
last week.
Dude, North Carolina and yesterday they looked good. They've looked so good. Cooper Flag didn't have a great game yesterday, but
I'm 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 putting this much stock into any win versus Syracuse as a program
I mean, but
in
it
the
was it
2020
was at
decade.
Syracuse, so I got to give them something, and they covered. But
They look dominant, but I ain't giving no credit.
yeah,
I still think Duke will probably win, but Clemson's covering the spread, and it's gonna be a damn close game.
yeah. Alabama at Arkansas, another game, top five team. Arkansas is hot. If they win, it looks really good for their season. They should probably jump up into the rankings. And honestly, I mean, they're really good. And even with
Alabama is one of those teams where they're gonna like they don't play defense, but they have so much offensive talent where
yeah,
like this is gonna be a fucking track meet. Athletes,
I'm gonna be
athletes,
interested to see what the total is gonna be on this game. Maybe,
170 and a half.
and I might take that even. But if it's under 160, no reason not to take it.
Yeah, I agree. I'll probably take Bama though,
Yeah. I
but
I
Bud
want to see the
will be
spread
rocking.
first. I want to see the spread.
Yeah,
And that's
and I'll,
that's pretty much it. There's a few teams in the high 20s.
that
Mississippi State's on the road to Georgia, Ole Miss on
banger
the road.
game.
Hmm?
No, there's a banger.
Which one?
Texas Tech at Arizona
Oh,
at 9:30.
I didn't scroll over
Texas
for
Tech at
that.
Arizona.
Yeah, I like that game. I I wonder who's going to be favored in this game. I'm
Uh,
thinking it'll be Arizona by a few points, maybe. But
and I might take Texas Tech.
I think I'm going to take whoever's not favored, to be honest. Just for the value
Yeah,
play. I really think it's a toss-up who could win. Arizona might get the edge just because they're at home, but Texas Tech has looked so good.
they just have dogs on that team, man.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they're looking to make a push for the top 10 and looking to make a push for a one seed, honestly, one or two seed. If they can win out.
Totally. And I think that the Big 12 will probably get one seed and one 2 seed.
Yeah.
And that'll be between probably
Houston.
honestly, Houston's probably the only team that can get a 1 seed at this point in the Big 12.
Maybe Texas Tech if they go in with four losses in a Big 12 championship. But
Yeah. I mean,
that's a
that's
lot
Iowa
to
State's
ask.
best win this year is on the road at
Yeah,
Texas Tech.
that's a lot to ask though. Hmm.
Yeah. You want to move to the big game?
Yeah, Super Bowl. I'm excited. I'm dreading it. I don't want the season to be over yet, and I need a three-peat for Patrick Mahomes' legacy. As a Chiefs fan, I need a three-peat. I can't hear
I
it.
think this is going to be an all-timer of a game.
I mean, the last time they played it was the best
It
Super
was a
Bowl
great
in
game.
recent years. And
I mean, I think last year's was better than that game.
well, yeah, I mean overtime or yeah. But
Yeah.
okay, listen to this. So my brother was telling me this stat. Past 2 years, player gets traded middle of the year, score the game-winning touchdown. 2 years ago was Kadarius Toney. Last year is Mecole Hardman. Does D Hop
So it's
score?
going to be D-Hop.
D Hop, he's been gone in the past few weeks. He's been irrelevant on the Chiefs.
Is that a stat?
Well, it's just
Or is
something
that
that
just
happened.
is that a uh like I don't even know the word. I mean,
Coincidence?
it's an incredible like pickup. I don't really know how to describe that. That someone noticed that.
Yeah. And so, I mean, it's just crazy even looking back though on the wide receiver room last year versus this year. Like it's just insane. The
I
upgrade.
think that uh I think that the Eagles defense is insane though.
Yeah. And they're
Like
running.
it's going to be the best defense that Mahomes has faced in this playoffs and the running game. That's going to be huge. Can they run the ball and can they keep Mahomes off the field?
Yeah.
That that's going to be the game, I think. What are your score predictions?
I mean, it's got to be higher scoring than the last game. I think I think it's going to be like a 31-22 game, Chiefs. And that and I
I'm gonna
hope
go.
for the love of God that they just put it out of reach early and just make it the least fun watched Super Bowl ever. I hope it's super boring. I hope the Chiefs score every possession and they take 10-minute possessions every time. I don't want
If
the
you guys haven't been able to tell thus far, that my co-host here is a Chiefs fan.
I don't want this to be enjoyable for anyone besides Chiefs fans this Super Bowl. I want it to be a legacy game and I want it to make history as a three-peat. Untouchable.
I think that I'm gonna have Chiefs 25 and the Eagles 22. Harrison Butker walk-off field goal.
And that's what scares me about that is he was so bad the past like 3 weeks before the playoffs, and he hasn't missed one yet in the playoffs.
Well, then he's good.
Yeah, but it scares me. It scares me for sure. Um, I hope they get Marquise Brown involved again like last week early. I hope they keep Xavier Worthy involved. Juju
Yeah, he's really been coming on strong.
And I really hope Travis Kelce has a big game because
Could be his last.
when he does, it's always in big moments to the point where if he has a big game, they probably win the game.
You want to get some TD
Yeah.
scores?
So some
Hurts is getting in.
props.
He's gonna
Xavier
Hurts is gonna
Xavier
steal one.
Xavier Worthy is getting in the end zone. The rookie, he's been outstanding all year. He's got like 10 touchdowns on the year. Mahomes is going to be looking for him, and I hope he just takes the top off on one. I've been saying that every time they played, but I really hope he does this time, and I think he gets him regardless if it's a long pass or short. And additionally to that, I think Kareem Hunt gets in. He's been dominant these past few weeks. Isaiah Pacheco had a mishap on a handoff and resulted in him only getting like 3 carries after that. But Kareem Hunt
Yeah,
was dominant, so I didn't mind it one bit. Let him handle the
I think
workload. Echo comes back next
one of
year.
those Eagles are gonna get a one of those Eagle receivers are definitely gonna get a touchdown.
Yeah. If I were to put money on it, I would never do this as a fan. It'd be Devontae Smith just because McDuffie's probably going to be on AJ Brown.
Yeah, that's kind of my thought there too. And Devontae Smith's plus 255. So
He hasn't
I'll
scored in
probably
he hasn't scored in the playoffs.
yeah, I'll probably sprinkle on that honestly.
But besides
Saquon's
that,
minus 190.
I don't like
It's
that.
probably he's probably gonna get in though.
Yeah, I know. I don't like it. If they can contain Saquon, they win the game though. That's the thing. They've been the best defense on containing running backs, contain Derrick Henry, which looked impossible. But if they can do that, they can win the
I
game.
mean, if they let Saquon do what they let James Cook do, they're gonna lose.
Yeah, that's the problem. But then again, Jalen Hurts is not Josh Allen to the point where Josh Allen makes the throws that he needs to. Even that last play where he was getting sacked and he hit Kincaid in the hands.
But I would say
Jalen
every
Hurts has
other
thrown that ball out
facet
of
of
bounds.
their team is significantly better than the Bills.
The what?
I would say that the Eagles are significantly better at every position other than the quarterback than the Bills.
Yeah. Well, tight end's about the same. Matt Collins looked really good.
I would take Goddard.
But I would just say from that fact that you have Matt Collins and Kincaid, Matt Collins could be
Matt
considered
Collins is a
a big wide
receiver.
receiver, but he's kind of like he's big enough where he could be like the tight end too. And that's what the Chiefs
Yeah,
struggle against. So having to guard both of them and Knox too, honestly. But Goddard
I think
probably
it'll be a great game.
is a better blocker and receiver. But
You want to make a quick lay before we parlay before we leave?
yeah, I think we each had 2 legs, 4-legger. I'm gonna be
Bet.
taking Xavier Worthy's over on yards, probably gonna be about 60 something yards, maybe 70. I like that. And then also D Hop, 3 catches. Hasn't happened in the playoffs yet, and he's so due.
I love that. I love those two. And then I will add Saquon over rushing attempts because they're going down with the ship that brought them here. Like that. I mean, that's just how it's going to be. And then I will also take Jalen Hurts anytime touchdown score, just because I know everyone's going to bet on Saquon,
So it's gotta be
so
someone else.
Jalen Hurts has to steal one. Like that's just how it works.
Okay, what about this? Is DraftKings, FanDuel, Bet365, MGM, every sports book, Saquon's been getting in every week. He's gonna be the most bet touchdown scorer, most bet 2+ touchdown scorer. They're getting everyone's money. He's not getting in the end zone.
No, I don't think he is either. I
I
wish you could bet not to score.
and if you could do it at the opposite odds, like plus
Yeah,
140 for minus 190, if you could get that, I would
I
hammer.
would do that
That
in a
could be the
heartbeat.
bias me talking. That could be the hating the books me talking. But that's what I bet. That's
And
what.
that's how we.
But that was the Ball Street Journal parlay. Book it before it's too late. Go get your bread up. Thanks for coming.
Before the books close it down.
Yeah, thanks for listening. Like and subscribe, boys.
Peace.
Portland has 3 timeouts while the Lakers have 2. Bryant to
More 12 yards from Adam. Case on the deep drop. Steps up in the pocket. He'll fire to the right side. Oh my God! Stay on! Oh my God! Are you kidding me? Miracle finish into Minneapolis.
30 years old, songs have been sold. Traveled around the world and we're still rolling. Soon we'll be 30 years old.
plays the rebound for Bedard down low. Bedard across Siles scores!
Still learning about life. My woman brought children for me, so I can sing them all my songs and I can tell the stories. Most of my boys are with me, some are still out seeking glory, and some I had to leave behind. My brother, I'm still salty. Soon I'll be 60 years old. My daddy got 61. Remember life, and then your life becomes a better one. I made a man so happy when you hold the little ones. I hope my children come and visit once or twice a month. Soon I'll be 60 years old.
Gives to Jordan. Jordan in the circle, puts the shot in the air. Good. The game's over, and the ball.
What can I say? Mamba out.